Welcome to News Hour with me, Julian Karuma. Coming up, National Procurement Authority reports over 10 trillion in financial recovery from bad contracts and procurement for 2021. World Vision Sierra Leone opens wash facilities at PCMH and Olajuwon hospitals. And magistrates Anticorruption grants bail to Kamo Kaba and other census protesters. Now, as always, these and more stories lined up in this edition of News Hour. But first, our corona preventive message.
You see where them people here wear the mask then fine? Well, now so you say for wear your mask. Cover your nose and you must all them where you dey near other person.
Please, and please, mask up. The National Public Procurement Authority, or the NPPA, has reported over 1 trillion leones as financial recovery from bad contracts and procurement. The revelation was made by the Chief Executive Officer of the NPPA, Ibrahim Bramaswale, at a press conference where he also highlighted other achievements in the 2021. Ibrahim Samura tells us more.
I will tell you, and I'll repeat it again authoritatively, that in 3 years we've saved 1.58 trillion leones from going into bad contract. That is fact. Gets to our bulletins, you see every of these activities that we are about to be undertaking. Compare it now with the audit report.
It was evident that the plague hit hard on all MDAs in the development chain, including activities of the National Public Procurement Authority. However, the National Public Procurement Authority has able to make some scores, launching of the electronic public procurement for MDAs that ensures value for money in public procurement, the quarterly price norms that help to guide procurement officers on the various prices of goods and services in the market, and a host of reforms.
Gets to the audit report 2017, 2016, 2015, you will see the Auditor General tell you procurement process of ABC went to MPPA. MPPA approved, but it is wrong. It's not possible right now. Watch the audit reports that are coming out. It's not possible to see anything in the audit report that tells you MPPA approved and it's wrong. That's a challenge.
He said under the BO-led administration, there has been increased transparency, accountability, and value for money in all public procurement. In 2022, the authority plans to introduce the Suppliers Registration for Businesses, publish independent reports on contracts, delivery of goods, training for journalists on procurement, and intensifies monitoring of their activities.
The Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Anthony Sandi, has described World Vision Sierra Leone as a reliable partner in improving the health facilities in the country. He made a statement at the handing over ceremony of the sustainable water facilities at the PCMH and Olajuwon hospitals and the rehabilitation of Macaulay Street Hospital. Aruna Kamara reports.
The rehabilitation and water supply project from World Vision to these hospitals, according to the National Director of World Vision Sierra Leone, was part of the organization's commitment to the medium-term national development plan and in addressing some of the challenges the hospitals faced in the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Sergeant Chow said they were committed to supporting the Ministries of Health and Water Resources to promote strong health system and sustainable access to clean water, through capacity building of health personnel, improve health service delivery and reliable water supply. He further emphasized that they would continue to support the two ministries in scaling up the preventive measures to limit the spread of COVID-19 through community mobilization for vaccine acceptance.
20 health facilities have been rehabilitated with a complete water, hygiene and sanitation package comprised of solar mechanized borehole, VIP latrines, incinerator, extended delivery rooms, cash pits, among others. World Vision has supported the Ministry of Health and Sanitation with 24 motorbikes for outreach activities, particularly immunization and antenatal care services in Kono, Kujiun, Bo, and Bont district. World Vision has supported 4 community health centers in Bo district with generators complementing the solar in order to ensure that the vaccine cold chain is well kept for timely vaccination of children. World Vision supported the coastal communities in Bont district with 2 motorized boats to aid referrals for these coastal communities to healthcare centers. We know all the challenges that the coastal communities are facing when it comes to referring pregnant women. Support also, World Vision has supported 342 health facilities with 330,850 sachets of NUTF for the treatment of malnutrition.
Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation 1, Dr. Anthony Sandi, said the services by World Vision did not come as a surprise, as they have been a reliable partner to government in strengthening the healthcare system in the country.
Supporting the provision of sustainable water supply in selected health facilities, and supported cleaning and donated an appreciable quantity of IPC materials to 4 hospitals and peripheral health units through the National Medical Supply Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, these are laudable efforts, and I have no doubt that the event that brings us together today will stir up our happiness in a special way, since it touches on an area dear to our hearts, such as positively contributing to a resilient and responsive health system, thus providing and regulating services for an overall quality of care.
He added that clean water prevents the risks of contracting several diseases. He commended World Vision for investing over 1 billion loans in providing clean water supply to the 3 strategic hospitals in the capital. The Minister of Water Resources, Philip Nazana, described water as the most basic resource in human life. He said the ministry's new strategy was to ensure that wherever water supply project was implemented across the country, the health facility there should benefit for adequate and sustainable water supply. He commended World Vision for supporting government agenda in addressing clean water supply challenges, mostly in healthcare facilities. A conducted tour of the rehabilitation facilities and water supply was led by the WASH manager World Vision, Engineer Patrick Gaima. For SLBC News, Aruna Kamara reporting.
Magistrates Kakura of Court Number 1 in Freetown has granted bail to Karamo Kaba and 14 others following their second appearance in court for alleged riotous and disorderly behavior at a gathering they orchestrated against the 2021 census along Shaka Stephen Street in Freetown. Magistrate Kakura warned the men who mostly claim membership of the main opposition party APC to comport themselves and be law-abiding, as Sierra Leone does not represent a lawless country. Aminish Brana report.
It was alleged that the accused persons, Karamo Kaba, Aruna Idrissa Fofana, Francis Molai Kamara, and 12 others were on Monday, 13th December 2021, on Sheikh Stephen Street in Freetown, conspired to commit an unlawful assembly with intent to commit a felony and behaved in a riotous manner during an unlawful gathering. They were also accused of compelling Assistant Superintendent of Police George Momo and Inspector Sheka Ganda to abstain from doing their job as police officers, thereby intimidated them during their course of duty. It was further alleged that they used certain statements that breached the peace. After spending about 8 days in prison, they have been granted bail on their second appearance at the Magistrate Court No. 1 in Freetown with a bail bond of 100 million leones and 1 shorty each. After granting the bail, Magistrate Sakikura admonished them to comport themselves, saying that they were not in a lawless state. Even though they have the right to express their minds and opinions, they should do it within the ambit of the law, and they should keep the peace and be law-abiding citizens. SLBC News, Aminash Nyande Brahma.
If perhaps you're just tuning in, you're on with the SLBC's 9 p.m. news hour with me, Julian Koroma. We continue with the rest of the news. Now, tailor shops are normally busier during festivities like Christmas, as people are eager to sew new clothes for themselves and loved ones. Esther Sako has visited some tailoring and clothing shops in Freetown to see how it is this festive season.
Festive seasons in Freetown are not only moments of joy, but are also moments of flamboyance as more people strive to wear new clothes and celebrate. Though some people prefer already made clothes, others go to the tailors to design their wares for themselves. This is Sarah Grounds, one of the places in the Central Business District where readily made clothes are displayed for sale. During festive seasons, more people crowd places like these to buy different African wares for their loved ones, but it appears that the situation is different this time around.
From last year, from the 10th level COVID camp, all what you back so, and what we don't get from before COVID.
Sales are bad. These are the same clothes I have had since the coronavirus started in Sierra Leone. In normal times, people would have overcrowded this place, but today, nothing is going on. We sit the whole day without selling anything, and we pay shopkeepers.
We respect now business and time here. You understand? This was from yesterday up to.
We display our items for sale every day, but customers are not coming. The country is hard, but we thank God for life.
Tailor shops are the busiest places during festivities, as the demand for sewn clothes is normally high during this time. These tailoring shops at Baconfield and Malama Thomas Street have piles of clothes waiting to be designed by these tailors.
We have plenty of work to do. This year's festive season is better than the previous ones.
Like me, I stopped for the time being.
Last year, I had to stop work because there was nothing to do. But this year, I even sleep in the shop because I have plenty work to do.
Even if now I want to start for courts.
There are still some tailors that complain of no business.
This year,
Business is bad. My shop used to be full with piles of clothes when times were normal, but as at now, nothing much is going on. I sew children clothes only.
SLBC News, Esther Sako reporting.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has engaged local authorities in Kenema on their contribution to strengthening national systems and improve coordination in the reporting of human rights issues at the local level. The engagement is part of the Ministry's mandate in fostering national policies that matter to the international community. Fatima Kamara reports.
The engagement brought together local authorities within Kenema town on their role on human rights and how they could collaborate with other local authorities in ensuring that issues relating to same are properly addressed countrywide. Deputy Director General, Ministry of Foreign Affairs Suleiman Apukumu noted that government's partnership with the international community to end human rights violations in the country was a clear manifestation of its commitment in promoting the rights of citizens, particularly girls, women and physically challenged. He said the president could only succeed in this drive if there was dedication from all, especially local authorities, as they were the drivers of the change in their communities. Resident Minister East Andrew Fatoma expressed his appreciations to the ministry for considering them in the protection of human rights. He said that the Universal Periodic Review was no longer a strange topic to citizens, as many were now aware of their rights and responsibilities. Minister Fatoma emphasized that government has also embarked on implementation of the recommendations of the Third Universal Periodic Review, which Sierra Leone has accepted. He assured the team from the ministry of their support to make a successful input to the country's reporting obligation to the international community. Other people also pledged their commitment to strengthen human rights. For SLBC News, Fatima Kamara reports.
The Anti-Corruption Commission has reacted to the 2020 audit report. The Commissioner, Francis Ben Kaifala, said even though his commission cannot investigate the entirety of the audit report simultaneously, however, his inspection officers are poised to start investigation on the first batch. Now let's have an excerpt of his speech.
Two things are clear. One, Sierra Leone is taking stronger action on Auditor General's reports since 2018 to now. In fact, what we are doing in Sierra Leone is not being done in any other country in Africa when it comes to taking prompt action on audit reports. Similarly, we do not do so discriminatorily. We take all the issues, taking into consideration our capacity and our resources, because the ACC cannot deal with all the issues that come out in audit reports at the same time.
The 2020 audit report highlighted 1,020 issues that need to be investigated by the Anti-Corruption Commission. Among the first batch of institutions to be investigated are the National Mineral Agency and Seratel. The Commissioner also reminded the media that over 70% of the 2019 audit report were investigated, and they plan to systematically investigate the 2020 audit report as well. SLBC News Hour, Julian Koma. That was the Commissioner, Anti-Corruption Commission, Francis Ben Kaifala, reacting to the Auditor General's 2020 audit report. The Minister of Information and Communication, Mohamed Rahman Soare, has launched a project for the rehabilitation of the first SLBC government provincial project in Kono district. The ministry has secured funds from the government to modernize the SLBC facilities in Kono as part of its commitment to improve on the state broadcaster in disseminating relevant information on policies and programs government is rolling out for the benefit of Sierra Leoneans. From Kono district, Dauda Kamara sent in this report.
The over 1.9 billion leones project for the rehabilitation of the SLBC Kono radio station is expected to be completed in less than a year. It will improve and transform the station from analog to digital broadcasting and provide a conducive working environment for its staff. The Mayor, Kono City Council, Matthew Kombasam, and the Chairman, Kono District Council, Sir Solomon Bondo, lauded the work of the Kono station for their professional and objective broadcasting by educating the public on government activities and development, and called on the contractor to deliver on the expectation of the project. The Chairman, Council of Paramount Chief, Kono District, PC Foyo, noted they have been experiencing much from the station in linking live programs from Freetown, but the station has been challenged with such facility, calling on the ministry to make the SLBC television to be accessible in Kono district. He commended the ministry for improving on the station's working environment and enhances its coverage. The representative of SLAJ, Kono district, Sylvester Banga, and the civil society representative, Michael Senesi, called on the ministry to provide stable electricity supply for the station, improve on the road network that leads to almost all radio stations in the district, and called on the minister through his ministry to support journalists in Kono with capacity building, both with national and international opportunities. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Trade and Industry, Augustine Sheku, who started the project during his tenure as PS at the Ministry of Information, said they already engaged with the Sierra Leone Roads Authority to construct the road leading to the station as part of the project, adding that the need to transform the SLBC station in Kono from analog to digital is significant. The provincial coordinator, Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, Ibrahim Batilomatia, said the project is a history-making one for the corporation, noting that since the inception of the current administration in 2018, they have done a lot in improving the access and facelift of the corporation. He said through the project, the station in Kono will start doing their own television live programs and have the facility to link direct from Freetown. The Minister of Information and Communications, Mohamed Rahman Sware, said Kono district is pleased to own the first SLBC provincial radio station in the country, supported by government, adding that the project is part of the President's commitment to improving on information dissemination to the public. He stressed on delivery of quality work to the project and commended the manager of the station and team for their efforts in keeping the station decent and running. The station manager, Kono SLBC Radio, Dauda Kamara, commended the Ministry of Information and Management of the SLBC for making the dream of Kono people come to pass by improving the state broadcasters' coverage and working environment, and called for a brand new transmitter for the station in Kono for a sustainable and wider coverage of their programs.
Bank of Sierra Leone and Sierra Leone Economic Diversification Project, in collaboration with World Bank, have launched the Upgrade Sierra Leone Collateral Registry. The initiative of launching the upgraded collateral registry, according to the bank governor, Professor Kilfala Kalon, was to improve access to finance, particularly for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the country. Jonathan Turner tells us more.
The Bank of Sierra Leone and Sierra Leone Economic Diversification Project have provided a platform that allows micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the country to use different assets, different qualities to access finance in order to improve their businesses. The upgraded Sierra Leone Collateral Registry is a web-based system that allows lenders to search for any registrations relating to prior security interests and provide a perfected ways to prioritize their security interests over movable and immovable assets provided as collateral. Additionally, the collateral registry facilitates the use of movable and immovable property as collateral that may remain in possession or control of the borrowers, and thereby improves access to secured finance. Businesses, cars, houses, land, mobile phones, and other machinery can be used as collateral in the new system.
You've been saying is access. Now the Bank of Sierra Leone, through the support of SLBC, has provided a platform that allows you to use different assets, different collaterals to access finance. Please use it, and now you as an individual, you can use it yourself. So please make good use of it.
We're going to also go out there and let the general public know about the collateral registry. We're going to go out there, take the story about the deepening of the financial system to the general public. We're going to go out there and ensure that you have hits on the collateral registry, and this is going to make not only the MSMEs become more active, but it's going to make the business sector in the economy become more secure, and finances can go out there with the assurance of returns or the collateral to back it up.
According to the bank governor, Professor Kefala Kalon, given the opportunities in agribusiness, among others, the collateral registry regime allows farmers and entrepreneurs to unlock significant sources of capital with assets that will otherwise not be looked at by lenders as potential collateral. He said movable and immovable assets are the main type of security that micro, small and medium-sized enterprises need to obtain more finance and resources.
All of these initiatives that the bank is putting together are geared toward moving the private sector forward, because we as the sector bank are responsible for creating a comfortable investment climate for the people of this country.
Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises have been identified as critical pillars and agents for economic growth, and the upgraded collateral registry system will ensure that the finance system is more efficient, effective, productive, and brings returns to the economy by enhancing GDP growth. For SLBC News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
Community development is a collective responsibility, as everyone's contribution matters regardless of their status or identity. It is in line with that, the Lovable Helping Hands Foundation has launched its pilot phase project geared towards constructing a mini stadium at local site 2 communities field, and also provide support to children and the aged. Our reporter Mohammed Kouma was there in our report.
It was an attempt to address challenges faced by both children and the elderly, ranging from education, health, housing to sporting activities of young people. Hence, the need for the birth of Lovable Helping Hands Foundation. Mayor Niate Kamara is the Chief Executive Officer of the organization.
My main focus is to help the children in need and the elderly that are also in need, to give them a home to stay, for them to not to be sleeping in the market, not to be outside on the street. My main goal is to bring them home where they can have a place to stay. Elderly to come to also give them an institution where they all can be around and be loved and have a communication.
The official launching of the organization was done alongside the launching of the mini stadium project that the foundation intends to undertake at low-cost Site 2 community field. The CEO said that the 2 years project would help create jobs for young people. According to the co-founder of the organization, Eunice Kamara, the organization intended to contribute to agriculture, economy, health, job creation, among others in their community. Councillor of Ward 414, Constituency 118, Akiratu Maxwell Coker, applauded the organization for bringing developments to their community. She encouraged community people to support the implementation of the project. SLBC, Mohammed Kouma reporting.
You're still on News Hour with me, Julian Kouma. Youth for the Industrial Mission has trained a number of youth to operate high-powered engines like trucks, forklift, caterpillars, and many more. The venture, according to the founder, Solomon Koma, said the training would enable local youths to be competitive in the job market because industries rely on bringing experts from overseas to do such jobs. And now they will consider locals because they have similar skills. Youth for the Industrial Mission is a group of engineers and technicians that train Sierra Leonean nationals in Sierra Leone to operate heavy-duty machines like caterpillars, graders, amongst others. On the celebration of the United Nations International Migrant Day, the International Organization for Migration in Sierra Leone has organized a film screening event to raise awareness around illegal and dangerous migration to Europe and other parts of the world. The event took place at the Radisson Blu Mamiyoko Hotel, and Dennis Fraser was there.
Since the adopting of the Convention on the Protection of the Rights of all Migrant Workers and Members of the Families on 18th November 1990, the United Nations family has been marking the day each year by celebrating contributions of migration. Every year, the International Organization for Migration, IMO, organizes the Global Migration Film Festival Awards and also uses returning migrants as messengers to warn against illegal migration. The IMO in Sierra Leone Film Festival uses images to tell stories about the dangers of irregular migration and also create space for deeper discussion, conversations and reflection on the challenges and difficulties encountered in irregular migration. In his statement, the head of International Organization on Migration, Dr. James Bogunza, thanked governments and partners for supporting them to screen educative films, all for the purpose of raising awareness around irregular migration. He noted that IMO was committed to continue working, supporting, and also putting in place interventions to address the challenges of illegal migration.
Working and supporting and also putting in place interventions in addressing migration challenges and harnessing the full potential of human mobility in the country.
Speaking on behalf of the United Nations country team, Steve Nusugba said there was many dangers associated with illegal migration for which the United Nations family was working tremendously to help combat. He said the United Nations has been using the day to express compassion on the challenges migrants face in undertaking dangerous adventures to Europe. He encourages all present to frown at illegal migration and ask for collective efforts to minimize the risk involved.
Employment and livelihoods are driving forces for migration. We have to be mindful of the benefits that migrants bring to society, including, as has been said before, knowledge exchange, providing young workforce for aging societies, and through remittances and their placements in the countries of origin, such as Sierra Leone. We have also found that to denounce the abuses that migrants endure, especially due to smugglers and traffickers whose unscrupulous work continues worldwide.
Global migration is a multifaceted phenomenon that has a lasting effect in the lives of people. Often in West Africa and other parts of the continent, people use the Sahara Desert and the Mediterranean Sea as an easy route to Europe. SLBC News, Dennis Fraser reporting.
Now, the Sierra Leone Life Saving Society has suggested that a combination of investment in training, public awareness, infrastructure and maintenance, and education can reduce risks in responding to national emergencies. This suggestion was made in the one-day National Public Lecture and Training on Elementary Emergency Management, with the theme, Commitment in Keeping Our Nation Safe. Now, Dennis Fraser again has the full detail.
Sierra Leone is prone to natural hazards such as floods, landslides and fire incidents, and the impact of these disasters has a national effect. The problem is even worse sometimes with the way emergencies are handled by frontline responders. In order to curb these lapses on their part, the Sierra Leone Life Saving Society and organization working to improve working standards of public, private, local emergency management bodies, including volunteers, held its first public lecture and training to enhance a swift response to emergencies. This was also to add to what they already know about risk, vulnerability, and the planning needed to reduce a possible threat and what is needed in preparing for a disaster.
It's a significant step to commence development of measures that will take us through factors that are affecting the tripartite of emergency management, because emergency situations are on rise and becoming frequent. More so, need to educate people about the risk, disasters, or management prior to the incident is becoming more important.
The focus was for emergency managers, citizens, and first responders on how they will become proactive to improve information flow that will curb an incident that might lead to emergency situations.
Let's come up together and bring up some, ideas together and solve how we can mitigate or do preparedness for disaster. So with that, I think it's a good idea for them to bring us together, participating with National Fire Force, the police, ONS and others.
Police work with people, we work with community, we engage in community in public sensitization. I believe what I learned from here will be taken down to the people, because going back to people, you have something to say to them, because if you learn something from here, not only being a police officer, but protecting life and property from the life-saving institution, you learn something that you will take to the people that protecting life is paramount.
The use of fire extinguishers and fire hydrants also formed part of the training. After a thorough review by the Sierra Leone Life Saving Society in the context of emergency management, the institution has seen the need for what they refer to as stakeholder and community awareness to mitigate, respond, recover, and better prepare for any major incident. Sierra Leone Life Saving Society promised to continue such positive engagement in subsequent times in future, with the hope of reducing natural and human-induced disasters. Citizens were, however, advised to work with the necessary emergency management bodies to prevent incidents that will lead to loss of life and property. SLBC News Hour, Dennis Fraser reporting.
SLPP delegates in Cambia and Putloro district have openly thrown their support for Jimmy Batilo Sunga for the position of chairman of the party. They declared their support when Mr. Sunga met with them to convince them for their votes for the elections slated for the 29th and the 30th of December. Emmanuel Samura has the detail.
Mr. Batilo! Mr. Batilo! We stand with you! We stand with you! And they vote for you!
This was how delegates in Cambia and Putloko openly threw their support for Batilo Sunga and promised to vote him as the next chairman of their party. The meetings in Putloko and Cambia were originally intended for campaign reasons, but they turned out to be fora for testimony, where people openly testified of how a man they referred to as the poor man's friend positively impacted their lives. They were, of course, talking about Jimmy Batilo Sunga.
Even though he has not yet occupied the chairman's position, he is helping us greatly. We are confident that when he becomes the chairman, he will do more than what he is currently doing.
The man respects people, you understand? We're not going to go put somebody the way, he become an oligarch, he become somebody where we go worship back.
We have to put someone that cares for and respects the people. Batilo is the only one that possesses such quality. He has been the voice of the voiceless, and we believe that he will move our party forward.
Beat me. I like the hospital. And the only about this poor man back will go for me. Go put 5 million.
If I am alive today, it is because of Batilo. When I was lying helpless in the hospital, Batilo was the only person who secretly went and paid my hospital bills.
He even facilitated for me to be flown out of the country for added medical attention. He is a man that feels for others irrespective of who you are.
In both of the districts, Bartilo tailored his message on providing a leadership that will be resilient, transparent and progressive, and to strive to better the lives of party members.
I make una for actually get somebody where they talk for una. The only reason why I want that I want to follow gentry. If I want gentry, I will stay as a deputy commissioner in NAPSA. New man and MP, then go pay and pay me. But who that will talk for una? President jogging very well for una.
Mr. Sunga encouraged the people to be peaceful, give audience and good hospitality to others who will be coming to campaign to them, as they are all members of the SLPP.
The Minister of Internal Affairs, David Noah, has launched the UN Peace Building Fund cross-border project to be implemented between Sierra Leone and Guinea. The project is funded by the UN Secretary General's Peace Building Fund and aims at bridging the division between cattle herders and farmers in the sister countries through conflict resolution mechanism. The event took place at the conference hall of the Internal Affairs Ministry, Gloucester Street in Freetown. Ibrahim Samura has the detail.
The project will be specifically implemented in Falaba district on the Sierra Leonean side and Farana prefecture in Guinea. These two districts from either side have one of the largest concentrations of cattle ranches, and reports of conflict between the herders and crops farmers have been evident. This was the reason the UN initiated the project to build cross-border peace and strengthen sustainable livelihoods of cattle herders and crops farmers in the two countries. WFP Country Director Steve Nsumbuka said the UN Peace-Building Cross-Border Project intends to provide concrete support to address issues of potential destabilization in the border areas of Falaba District and Farana in Guinea. He said WFP's utmost priority is people and communities, promote peace among them and crops farmers and cattle herders to thrive and build livelihoods side by side. Head of Mission IOM Sierra Leone, Dr. James Bongoza, said climate change has altered traditional movement patterns and increased transhuman migration as cattle herders and farmers look for more cultivable land, further increase intercommunal tensions. He said IOM would conduct a comprehensive border and migration assessment to better understand transhuman migratory routes, trends and impact in the border communities during the project implementation. Internal Affairs Minister David Panda Noah said he was with the firm conviction that the implementation of the project, communities in Falaba and Farana would benefit both countries from improved cross-border relations and promote peaceful coexistence between cattle herders, crop farmers through the provision of smart climate livelihoods. WFP, IOM and the Ministry of Internal Affairs would co-implement the project for 24 months and provide livelihood support, establishment of community pasture infrastructures and solar-powered irrigation systems. Ibrahim Samra, Freetown.
Now, managing waste has been a serious challenge for the Freetown City Council over the years. Despite efforts to see the capital sensitize, many are still in the habit of disposing waste in an unregulated manner. To help address such challenge, the Freetown City Council has engaged tribal heads to enforce bylaws by keeping the city clean. Joseph Toure witnessed the session and now reports.
Depositing waste in an unregulated manner poses a serious threat to the health of many Freetonians. Though existing laws seek to curb such negative practice, many still continue to do such. The limited number of metropolitan police cannot man the capital city to enforce bylaws. Thus, the involvement of local authorities to help enforce bylaws was considered as taking the council to the people. Having the tribal heads into ensuring sanitation is maintained in the capital, Mayor Yvonne Akisoya was confident would be sustainable as in line with the Transform Freetown initiative.
In terms of effectiveness, we focus on changing behaviors with the Cleaner Zone competition, which is about incentivizing, but from an enforcement perspective, we need more hands on deck. And working with the chiefs gives us that additional coverage. So in every community now, the chiefs have been empowered. We've delegated the authority to them.
Those who will be found wanting will be paying fines to the tribal heads. She explained more on how the initiative will be carried out at ward and zonal levels.
Back to council, we've delegated a specific level of authority to the chiefs. So at the sub-chief level, the chiefs can fine 100,000 leones for sanitation offenses, and they will collect that money themselves and they will use it to build enforcement at the local level. That's really key because we have between 1.2 to 1.5 million people in our city and we only have 150 Met Police. So as you can imagine, that's on average one Met Police for about 100,000 people.
Tribal heads were appreciative of the idea, registering that they have crucial roles in ensuring sanitation is maintained in Freetown. They pledged commitment to implement the bylaws fully. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
And now for some stories making the news in Africa. Drone and airstrike have killed at least 28 people in Ethiopia's Tigray region. Footage showed by Tigray TV, controlled by the TPLF rebels, showed image of dead bodies on the street and the injured being carried away. The target was a market in the town of Alamata. Head of security for Alamata town, Kubwe, said drones attacked the market and killed more than 38 people and more than 80 people were injured. He added that attacks started last Wednesday and lasted for 3 consecutive days. The government and various rebel groups have been involved in fighting in Tigray for over a year. South African scientists, hailed for their discovery of the Omicron, are investigating the highly plausible hypothesis that the emergence of a new COVID-19 variant could be linked, in some cases, to mutations taking place inside infected persons whose immune system have already been weakened by other factors like untreated HIV. Researchers have already observed that COVID-19 can linger for many months in patients who are HIV positive but who have, for various reasons, not been taking the medicines that would enable them to lead healthy lives. An army spokesman has said that a female soldier has been arrested in Nigeria for accepting a marriage proposal while on duty. The officer was aided to have breached the military's code of conduct by indulging in romance while in uniform. A women's rights group, Empowerment and Legal Aid, has accused the military of discriminating against her, saying that similar actions had not been taken against male soldiers involved in a public display of a romance relationship in full military uniforms. Human rights activist and former Nigerian president candidate Omolia Suwori condemned the army's decision as misogynistic. The soldier had accepted the marriage proposal from a trainee at the government's youth training scheme known as the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC. Let's now go over to our entertainment desk for the latest update.
Hello and welcome to the Entertainment News. My name is Daphne Ekmamakoli. In this edition of the Entertainment News, we are going to talk about how DSTV Sierra uses its kids content characters as fun-time events. And most importantly, we shall be making an appeal for a female musician who is currently sick. And now we know how most children get the cartoon character they admire. Most of these cartoon characters in diverse ways make impression on the educational and social life of children. DSTV Sierra has used its kids content characters as fun time to celebrate Christmas with kids at the Freetown Amusement Park. This is not the first time that DSTV is organizing such an event, but this time around, the program was spiced up with fun time, dance competition and cartoon painting on the faces of the kids. DSTV also used the program to distribute learning packages to the kids. The marketing and sales manager at Transnational Sierra Leone, Sidiru Tijan Moigwa, said DSTV Sierra Leone is taking a new adventure to capacitate the children's learning environment. And now, we want to say thanks and appreciation to the First Lady, Madam Fatima Bio, for coming on board to help our popular Sierra Leonean film musician Vida Green to undergo a surgery abroad. Vida has been ill for a while now, and the appeal has been on social media, and now she is receiving treatment overseas. That's all we have time for in this edition of the Entertainment News. My name is Daphne Kemamakoli.
And now let's dash through our sports desk for the latest update.
Welcome to Sports Update. In this edition of the Sport News, the President of the Confederation of African Football, Patrick Motsepe, has indicated that the delayed Africa Cup of Nations will go ahead as planned. Motsepe was speaking with less than 3 weeks until the tournament kicks off as he visited Yaounde's Olambi Stadium, which will host the opening match on the 9th January. His comments came as speculation persists that the finals will be delayed further. Here's an excerpt of the interview.
We will all meet in a few weeks' time in Cameroon, because this AFCON Cup is a competition, it's a tournament for the people of Cameroon and for the people of Africa. And I am so proud and so excited about the work that has been done. And you can see that there's a huge commitment and a focus to make sure that some of those issues that are being put in place in the next few days, good progress is being made. My message is to Africa and to the world. We are going to host, in partnership with the government of Cameroon, the people of Cameroon, CAF. We are ready to show the world the best of African football, but also the best of African hospitality and the best of, we are Africans are a caring and a loving people. So it's going to be a successful AFCON, the most successful. I'm here from January 7. Everybody must be here 7. So come January 9, they must kick off.
And now in tennis, Emma Raducanu has expressed her delight at winning the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award, beating second place Tony Delay and Adam Piety, who finished third in the voting. Raducanu was shortlisted among 6 fellow contestants for the prestigious award, which also included Ryan Sterling among others. The US Open champion was voted BBC Sports Personality of the Year on Sunday to cap an incredible rise throughout 2021. The 19-year-old Raducanu became the first ever qualifier to win a Grand Slam singles title with her triumph in New York. in September after not dropping a set in the tournament. She said she was happy for British tennis that they were able to get the award again. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of Sports Updates and News. I am your host, Esther Marie Samoa, saying goodbye and keep watching the SLBC.
Now let's wrap up this news hour with the main points again. The National Public Procurement Authority, or the NPPA, has reported over 1 trillion leones as financial recovery from bad contracts and procurement. The revelation was made by Chief Executive Officer of the NPPA, Ibrahim Bramasori, while highlighting the achievements in 2021. National Director of World Vision Sierra Leone has told the Ministries of Health and Water Resources of the organization's commitment to promote strong health systems and sustainable access to clean water. Sijan Thieu made the commitment while handing over water facilities to the PCMH and Olajurin hospitals. And Magistrate Kura of Court Number 1 in Freetown has granted bail to Kromo Kaba and 14 others on their second appearance in court for alleged riotous and disorderly behavior over the 2021 midterm housing and population census. Now, abundant thanks for having the SLBC. I have been your presenter, Julie Brahma. Do have yourself a wonderful night. Good night.
You're watching the SLBC